Welcome back, everybody. Man, was that exhilarating to watch.
That was.
Heartbeat at home.
We should have put the hula hoop camera on them.
Seriously. Didn't I suggest that an hour ago?
In fact, it's much warmer in here now. I can,
it really is.
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting conversation, and it's a conversation I think that needs to be had, but it's also a conversation that I think we need to have without jumping to a conclusion and digging your heels in and getting your back up. We brought you the story a little bit earlier. A little girl, Elodie Glover, has a severe allergy to eggs and dairy, so much so that it could be deadly.
She's already had 9 bouts of anaphylactic shock, okay, through her school.
And Lynn Glover, her mom, has filed a complaint with the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario because it's that the school is discriminating against her because she has to be segregated for lunch. She's pulled her out of school, homeschooling her.
They've taken some measures, for example, serving pizza, you know, without any cheese on it and things like that, but it's not enough. Her allergies are that severe.
And it's very simple, you know, and I've served on school councils in the past, so I know, I've seen it firsthand. It's very easy for a lot of parents to just, when you talk about nut allergies especially, forget them, I don't care, my kid will eat nothing else but, and blah, blah. And it's very simple to just stand up and say, I don't care about anybody else's kid except mine. But in a society, we have to care about those who are weaker than others and the more vulnerable. So we have to at least give it some thought instead of jumping to a conclusion.
People are definitely chiming in on Twitter because it's one of those things where it's a very polarizing effect and reaction. This is something new. Let's talk about that too. I mean, 20 years ago, and when we went to school, which was at least 22 years ago in grade school, we didn't have this problem. We all had peanut butter and crackers, right, as part of our snacks.
But it's also a new reality.
It's a new reality.
Environmental concerns have caused a lot more people to be allergic to these things. And there were allergies that we just weren't aware of when we were younger,
right,
that just were not diagnosed. And on the broader scale, peanuts are banned from most schools in a lot of cases.
So much so, I bought my nephews the allergy-free peanut butter. It's the mock soy one, and because it looked and smelled like the real stuff, they unfortunately not only were not allowed to eat their sandwich, they were sent back home with a note as to why they couldn't eat it. And and they brought the label of the thing saying this is not peanut butter as proof that they could eat that. I thought that was cruel because it clearly wasn't. They brought the label showing it was just made of soy, and they weren't allowed to eat their lunch that day.
Now, the reason I say you have to see the story on both sides is put yourself in the shoes of the mom.
And the little girl.
What would you think if this was your kid? You want them to go to regular school. You don't want them to be ostracized and
isolated.
You know, homeschooling it can be wonderful. However, it can be taxing. It can be expensive. It can also make the child feel as though they're being segregated even more. So public school is just that for the public. What if it were your kid who could die because someone had an egg salad sandwich beside them?
What would be the solution then? Would it be put all of the children with severe allergies in a room together so they have like friends and they're not isolated to themselves? I feel the deeper issue here, and we have to deal with this in the interim, is to figure out what is at the root of the problem. Europe does not have the statistics we do with allergies in children. What is it in our food? What is it in our environment? Let's get to the root cause to eradicate this problem, because these children shouldn't have to live with this in this fear of being near food every day.
While we're doing that, though, we have to deal with this problem. And it's not just a simple, you know what, I don't care, you know, they can go somewhere else to eat. When you think of a child, so I think we do need to get together and come up with a solution. Banning dairy and eggs and peanuts from school completely, it's impossible, and I don't think it's the right answer either. But like you say, are there areas where maybe we can get some parents to be in agreement and say, you know what, we are gonna put some of the kids into an area where it's allergy free, or we need to at least examine it. Now, Winston, I want to bring Winston on this because he's been monitoring all the social media, and you say there's been lots of reaction from both sides, or is it one-sided?
You know what? It's on both sides. Citynews.ca actually has this article online, and we have it at breakfasttelevision.ca as well. Val brought up a really interesting point here that you mentioned, Dina, as well, having an allergy-free lunchroom. So does that mean we're creating a separate space so that maybe our kids who do have those allergies can go into that room? Another person is thinking, how far is too far? You know, there's so many allergies out there. Dairy is a product that's in everything, basically. So how far is too far?
What's the bleeding disease? If you start to bleed, is it hemophilia?
Hemophiliac?
If you're a hemophiliac, I mean, are you going to say, okay, nothing sharp whatsoever in school? We can't have any compasses. We can't have any scissors. Period. So, like you say, how far is
where do you draw the line?
Is too
well, and
far.
we have many parents here who've experienced it. I don't know, Frankie, if you have, but Nicole, our director, you were saying you actually had to deal with this issue in your daughter's school, was it?
At both of my kids' schools.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's the peanut allergy, and then there's also now the egg allergy. So the eggs have to be cooked. You know, and I get it. I understand that, you know, as a parent, if my child had this allergy, that I'd want them to be okay. You also have to educate your children, and most parents do educate their children when they're going into the school program, saying that, you know, don't touch other people's lunches, you know, no sharing or changing snacks and whatever. But I don't agree that you should remove all these products from the school.
So you're saying teach your child if they're old enough.
Teach your child, and, you know, like you were saying as well, is have a little area for them, you know, the allergy, or, you know, if there's kids that are willing, or parents, I should say, willing to provide snacks and everything that aren't going to be wheat or dairy or whatever the allergy is, so that they have friends, so they can not be by themselves and have people with them.
And the important thing is this discussion.
Yeah.
You know, parents need to have that with the teachers, communities need to come together to come up with a solution, because now this poor little girl is being homeschooled because she has no choice.
Yeah. The discussion should not be yes or no. That is not the. You have to, and I give this advice to parents, no matter what school you're at. You have to have a discussion. Nobody should be saying yes or no. They should be saying, okay, what can we do? What can we do
To make it safer, to make it better for everybody involved.
Yeah. So there is a solution that we can arrive at together.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Are you getting emotional?
No, I do, because I get
emotional.
because I've sat on the school councils and I've watched some parents who will just put a wall up. They will put a wall up there and they will say, no, I don't care about anybody else around me, and I don't want my kids to care about anybody else, because they won't eat anything but peanut butter, and that's that. Well, that's not a solution. That, you know, you're not coming up with, you're not working together for solutions. There is a solution out there. It's just a matter of working together and trying to find it.
And it is so important, you know, for these kids, if they choose not to be homeschooled, to have that interaction. Very much, I think, you know, when you're in class, it's a lot about the friends you make, the social aspect, the being able to play outside with them for recess. So this is something that has to, I think, you know, there needs to be further discussion about
So
it.
what's your solution? You know, you can be a part of the conversation. What should we use a hashtag? Let's give it a hashtag, school allergy.
Sure.
Let's do a hashtag school allergy. What's your solution? I know what the problem is. I know what opinions are, but what's the solution? How can we work this out so it's good for both sides?
And we also have a comment section at breakfasttelevision.ca where the article is.
Okay.
Comment down there, and we'll definitely take a look at some of them and share them with you guys.
Because we have very smart viewers, and your opinions will be, I'm sure, helpful ones for a lot of people out there.
All right. We're going to take a break on BT. We'll be back with an update on the news, traffic, and weather. Who knows? We might show you the hula hoop can again.
Just 'cause.